Hello everybody, how's everybody today? It's Thursday, that means it's trash day. And Vivi's new haircut. Say hi, Viv. Elbows up. Elbows up. She's a good girl. So yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about the extortion king himself. But first, I'm going to put Vivi down. Say bye, Vivi. Bye-bye. I want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart for all your good wishes. For my daughter, our little Togo, and my family. It was heartfelt, and my eyes leaked about 100 times. Every time I read another comment, especially those that said that their pets are waiting for at the rainbow at the fridge. Anyway, let's get to the story at hand, shall we? I'm doing fine. Thank you for your concern and your heartfelt words. How's that? Okay, so if you're new to the channel, give us a thumbs up. Thumbs it up. Consider subscribing to the channel if you like what you see, like what you hear. And all my hangers-on, I dearly, dearly appreciate every single one of you. I really do. So, there's that. All my hangers-on, thank you for hanging on. I appreciate you give me time off when I need it, and you understand, which is huge. So let's get into what we're going to talk about today. Plain and simple, it's extortion. The Menopause Moose Knuckle is extorting the world. Every country around the world. So basically, it looks like the Republican regime, and I mean that literally, have taken over everything. And laws no longer matter. Unless, of course, if you're an independent or a Democrat, then the book will get thrown at you. The DOJ lawyer that was answering a judge in the case of the Maryland father that got sent to El Salvador saying that he was a gang leader and all the rest of the stuff, they just took him off the street and took him away. Now he's in El Salvador at a ultramax prison. The judge asked this lawyer some questions. The lawyer, in all honesty, said, I don't know, Your Honor. I just don't know. I haven't been given that information, and I haven't been able to get it. So he goes back to the office, and he is promptly fired because he didn't vigorously defend his client, meaning Pam Bondi and Donald Trump. He was fired because he wouldn't lie to a federal judge. And he didn't want to get disbarred. So he got fired for telling the truth. And to make it even better, just for good measure, they fired his supervisor as well. Yeah. So if you get a chance, watch the Midas Touches. It's called a shadow hearing on YouTube. Very eye-opening. I think there was 6 lawyers who testified about the treatment that they were receiving for doing their jobs with honesty, ethics, and integrity. So they tell their story. One of the lawyers works in pardons, and her name is Liz Oyer. She is getting all kinds of hate mail, all kinds of stuff now. She received a request to pardon Mel Gibson and allow him to have his guns back. Well, apparently she didn't think that a convicted physical abuser, and he mentally abused this woman too, it's all on video, who only received home confinement, just had a little ankle bracelet on. And in my words, he is a substance abuser, and his substance of choice is alcohol, I believe. I don't know for sure. And she didn't think that somebody like that should have guns. She showed up at work for a meeting. She was in the meeting, and her aide came in all flustered and everything else, and said that there was some officers waiting for her in her office. Todd Blanche told her to be flexible because Mel Gibson is a friend of the president's, and he makes great movies. And he's going to be made ambassador to Hollywood, so you need to give him back his guns. What's he going to do, shoot up fucking Hollywood? Is that why he needs them back? But anyway, she was fired. and she had like 40 minutes to clear out her desk. So she got a little grocery bag and filled it up, and she went home. She went out to dinner with her parents and her husband, her teenage, I'm going to say child, but I don't know if it's a son or a daughter, but her teenager was at home by herself. And she heard that armed officers were coming to the house. So she wanted to get there. So she goes, and these guys give her a letter warning her to not testify at the shadow hearing. So she testified, and it's very interesting. These shakedowns are taking place all throughout the government of the United States of America. Never thought I'd see the day. And it comes down to you do my bidding, my way, or you're gone. And you've seen it yourself. There's hundreds of these stories out there, thousands. Trump can't build anything himself. He can't do anything himself. So he just figuratively shits on the very people that voted for him. He's taken away all their rights, taken away their benefits, and they're blind as hell. And they were hoping that by voting for him, that he was going to do a lot of good things. But they're finding out the hard way. And voting for him, it's okay, we'll take this. It's okay, he's doing a good job because he has a plan. No. His plan was what he told you he was going to do. He's going to get rid of Social Security, Medicare. Red states will get hit the hardest because the Department of Education is going to be funded by red states only, and they are some of the lowest school scores in the whole country. So, yeah, it is your fault, just saying. He told you exactly what he would do for you. He would do not to you. He did it to you, not for you. He did it to you. Better yet, how he can make money hand over fist is by bribing everyone. He didn't bring integrity to the White House. He didn't bring honesty to the White House. He didn't bring any morals to the White House. Far from it. He turned the people's house into a used car lot and a revolving infomercial for sneakers, shitcoins, and I'm surprised that the Mar-a-Lago shitter isn't on the back of one of those coins. He has a sale on right now for citizenship, and for a mere $5 million, you too can become a citizen of the United States of America. You could win the vanilla lottery. That's right. We are already have 75,000 people all signed up and ready to come. 75,000 very pale South Africans ready to migrate. They're coming to America, folks. Only it's not for Black South Africans or any others from any other African country. All the pale whales. And he and his crime regime are breaking laws left, right, and center. They gave veiled threats at first, with the suggestion that they work at the pleasure of the president, and if you can't do his bidding, you will not have a job, you will not have security, or your health care benefits. Some of them have been doxxed. So you decide, is what he says. And now he has his goons in place to carry out his orders. Let me make you an offer you can't refuse. In true Don Corleone fashion. And I wish this was all hyperbolic, but it is not. It is playing out hour by hour in every state through the great United States of America. He is way behind the number of deportations that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden had. About all they did was they did it quietly. They did investigations on these people. They didn't meet asylum requirements, or they overstayed their welcome. As soon as they were completed their prison terms, they were gone. They were deported. They turned back more criminals than Trump ever will, because Hobag and Christie, I assassinated my puppy and my goat within 3 hours of each other. Noam want to intimidate people. For lack of a better words, they're on a witch hunt for anybody that's brown and has tattoos. They go to their places of work. They go to churches. They go to daycares. I wouldn't be surprised if they were at friggin' funerals and ICUs waiting for the person to die. Children's schools, construction sites, farms all across the United States. But the one place they aren't staking out seems to be only a few businesses, but they happen to be owned by the Menopause Moose Knuckle, who is notorious for only for me, but not for thee. This, as he says, he's cracking down on the border crossings, fentanyl coming across the border, drugs and all the rest of this stuff, and catching all the criminals pouring in. Has undocumented workers working at all his places because they serve a vital function to the crime boss's life. They provide cheap labor. He pays them what he thinks they're worth, so you know how much that is. And even while being the head crimer in season 1, never turned over any of them to ICE. Not one, which is good for them, I guess. It's a tough job to foam at the mouth daily about people entering the country without going through proper channels, separating families, or sending people back to countries that they're not even from or have never known, or sought asylum for and got, all while keeping his own slave labor force to keep his golf courses running. Somebody's got to do it, right? That was Vanity Fair 2019. Washington Post reported back in 2019 also that Donald Trump employs a roving group of Latin American employees to perform masonry work on his golf clubs and his wineries. For almost 2 decades, these groups have been comprised of workers who came to the U.S. Without documents. Now, seeing as season 1 was just the pilot program, he has graduated to global extortion. He has this notion, and he has had it since the 80s, that the whole world owes him. The whole world owes him a living. And that's because he wants everything for free and expects every country except Russia, Belarus, Cuba, and North Korea, only ones that weren't tariffed, to keep him in the luxury that he has so come accustomed to. This 90-day pause is basically only for some of the poorest countries that can't afford to import expensive American goods. His tariffs on Canada were exempt the added 10%. Oh, poof, right? But his punishment tariffs on Canada is still in effect for our sins of transporting, I think it was 5.5 grams of fentanyl last month, and I think there was less than 300 illegal crossings. Yeah. So we're getting tariff 25% on steel, aluminum, and autos, and some parts. More tariffs are coming, apparently, on copper, softwood, and other stuff. And he says, you take what I give you and like it. If you reciprocate, we will double down. Just like he did with China. Well, now China's not at 125% anymore. They are up to 145% because Big Chops himself in the briefing room there come out and said that same thing. So it's just like he did with China. Both Canada and Mexico got minuscule exemptions. That was that extra 10% on cars and parts. His economic advisor, if you don't want to get tariffed, then don't reciprocate. Oh, so we're going to sit here on our arse and let you do whatever you want to Canada. We're just going to sit here and take it. Is that what you think? We don't bend over for anybody. He just says, take it and shut the hell up. At a black tie RNC dinner, now let's face it, all that was a big bow and a big scrape to the king of dog and pony shows. That's what that was all about, where he disparaged and ridiculed all these countries for calling him and asking him to back off on tariffs. He belittled them all, and he said they were coming from 75 different countries while he sat on his big nuts in the Oval Office there and said they're coming to kiss my ass. Yeah, he said, they're all coming. They're all trying to kiss my ass. So he's letting them. But guess who isn't kissing their ass? Canada. We're fighting back. And in Surrey, BC, there was a bunch of school trips scheduled for the United States, which have now been canceled for fear of being detained at the border. How sad is that? Washington's a great state and very friendly with Canada. There's Americans that are working in Canada, vice versa. They cross the border all the time. But these school kids and the teachers and stuff are terrified of being detained. And they're planning next year's schedule, and I don't believe that there's any U.S. trips on there. Sad for the kids because they're great learning experiences. We're going to take it on the chin because that's who we are. We're tough. But little sideways jabs, we're getting them back because Canadian visits are down almost 75% and tourism is down almost $800 million. There's a lot, day trips, like a cousin of mine lives down by Fort Erie and she goes back and forth across the border for groceries and all kinds of stuff all the time. She's not doing that anymore. Her and 30% of other border communities aren't having that traffic anymore either. It's down 30% from last month. So they're not risking that either. So ask red states how they're making out, because now Brussels is striking back, and they're striking back hard, seeing as the Mango Moose Knuckle gave the EU a 20% blanket tariff on absolutely everything that comes into the United States. So they're going to target red states too. I feel sorry for my friends and stuff that are in Kentucky and Tennessee and Florida, Texas. I've got a lot of them. I got a lot of folks on here, and I feel really bad for you guys. And what is happening, though, is his extortion crime wave hit him in the ass when the markets went from a bull market to a bear market in just 4 days. He finally had to put a 90-day pause on the markets because everybody was on his ass. All these governors were calling him, and he had no choice. He had to back down. He had no choice because he's a chicken shit son of a bitch. And he knows he shouldn't have done it in the first place. But it was that one step over the line again, one step over the line. What can I get away with? Yeah. But now that China has told him to basically fuck off, he's all pissed off. So what happened? He added more tariffs on them, so they're at 145% now. What happened to the markets? Pretty much any gains they made yesterday, they lost almost 3/4 of what they made yesterday. Went down 3/4 today. But Elon, for some reason, his stock only went down 16 points. Just saying. Don't know how that works. So the wannabe mafia boss sits behind his desk saying, we will do something for you if you stop fighting for your country, fighting for your people, stop your yipping, and just do what I say. So the extorter-in-chief has killed the markets yet again. But does he care? No, because it's never going to affect him, because all these folks around the world, all these billionaires, are going to keep padding his pockets long after he's out of office, so he gives a rat's ass for none of it. Just saying. Anyway, Naughty Nana loves you. Be good, be safe. Please take care of you first so you can take care of somebody else, like you took care of me and my family yesterday. Thank you so much. We thank you. I love you.